Success in and of itself will not get you girls. I'm going to be breaking down the 5 big reasons why this is so you can actually understand and do the right things and attract the girls that you want. Starting with money without character development is worthless. So, if I were to give you $1 million right now, and let's say you're not having success with girls currently, do you think that this $1 million is going to start giving you tons of success with girls? No, I can almost guarantee you that it won't, because if you gave 19-year-old Seb $1 million when he was scared, anxious, couldn't even go on a date with a girl who was nice. The first 5 dates I went on with the girl who I dated at 19, I was extremely nervous to go on those dates to the point where I couldn't eat. Do you think if you gave him $1 million, it would have changed anything? Do you think if he rolled up in a Lamborghini, I would have been more confident? No, because I didn't have the true internal confidence and communication and charisma and skills that girls find attractive. Money without character development is basically worthless. The most important thing if you want girls is not going to be money and success. It's going to be who you are as a person, who your character is. There is broke dudes out there or dudes making basic ass income. I see them all the time in Sweden who are just G's and they get plenty of girls. Money is not the factor holding you back. You need to develop the traits that girls find attractive. Courage. This was a huge one for me. When I was scared to cold approach a girl, literally having anxiety in my stomach and just like scared shitless, having tons of negative racing thoughts, and I went and did it anyway, that is the demonstration of courage, of bravery. That is what girls find attractive. Now, they don't always understand what's going on in your current situation. You don't need to let them know. But over time, now it doesn't affect me. It doesn't faze me. I don't get that pit feeling. I'm not negative and getting racing thoughts. Now I just go up to a girl and I'm just like smooth with it, right? But being courageous is going and doing the things that other people are scared to do or you are scared to do. If you can do those things confidently and you can be smooth and charismatic whilst going and approaching girls, they're going to find that courage attractive. Oh, wow, you just came up and approached me like a man. Okay, next, confidence. This is so essential. So, confidence is one of the most important things. You need to be self-assured. You need to feel like you are the man. And this is exactly why I built you boys a confidence transformation guide teaching you all the steps that I took to go from a shy, insecure, anxious kid to a confident, outgoing man who can travel the world with ease, going and talking to girls in foreign countries, knowing absolutely no one, and get with plenty of them. So that guide is completely free. It's the first link in the description below. You can grab that now. Next is charisma, and this also ties into communication a bit. So we'll tackle these next 2 at once. Charisma and communication, you want to be a smooth communicator. You want to be able to pick up on people's nonverbal cues, understand how they're thinking and feeling. This is what's going to allow you to be funny, be socially in tune, actually be someone who is fun to be around, know the right things to say, and you're only going to get this with practice. You're going to have to talk to a bunch of girls to actually be able to be charismatic and have good levels of communication. It's just one of those things where there is no workaround. You just have to be out there talking to tons of girls, socializing all the time, and this will make you charismatic, smooth, a good communicator, able to pick up on those nonverbal cues and have the success you want. No amount of money will be able to buy you these traits. And the next thing you need to understand is that money is not attractive. Simply having numbers on a screen that are in a bank account does not turn a girl on. She does not care how many numbers are in your bank account. But what money can do is travel, nice dates, lifestyle, cars, jet skis. This is what girls like. Girls like fun. But to do these things with a boring man is not appealing. You need to be interesting, funny, charismatic, charming. This is what girls want to be with. They want to be with a fun, cool guy who then can do these things. And even if you weren't able to do these things, if you were just a funny, cool guy, you'd still get the girls. So personal development is equally as important as financial success. And what do I mean by personal development? I mean developing your body and mind. So body, being in the gym, training, being physically attractive. When you think of the girls that you want to sleep with, are you thinking of fat, 300-pound girls? No, you're thinking of models who are tight waist, big tits, nice ass, beautiful face. You need to be the equivalent of that for girls to want to get with you. So you need to be in the gym. Let's write that down. Gym. The next thing you need to be doing is developing your mind. Your mind is equally as attractive as your body. If you got a really sharp, witty mind, girls are going to like that. And for me, I was actually kind of socially dumb growing up. until I started reading and learning a lot, constantly reading. Every single day I read for about 30 minutes to an hour depending on the day. And this has allowed me to read over 100 books in the last 3 years and absorb tons of knowledge on many different self-improvement topics that have allowed me to develop my confidence, my courage, my communication, understand verbal and nonverbal communication, get good at sales, start sales jobs, start an online business. And that's what's made me more attractive, is the development that I've gone through in order to become successful, not just the money itself. On top of that, I'd recommend meditating, because meditating is going to allow you to develop presence in your mind where you're not constantly distracted by your thoughts, what you want to say in the conversation, and you can actually take the time to just look at a girl, listen to her, have no thoughts, and be present in that moment, and then keep the conversation much more in alignment with what she wants instead of just trying to think about what you want to say and interject. And the last thing is gratitude. If you are grateful and you're a fun, happy person, you're just going to be more attractive. There's nothing better than a guy who's just there smiling, fun to be around, always optimistic, always positive. Think about the opposite, sad, negative, and depressing. No girl wants to be around that. That's the opposite of fun. So the personal development is just as important as the financial success. And here is the next one. We're actually going to start from the bottom, and that's waiting until you're successful to start dating or trying to get girls. And that is a bad idea, really bad idea, because you need to learn girls throughout your journey. You should be talking to every hot girl you see, whether you are broke or rich. There was times when I only had $1,000 in my account and I didn't even know how to make money. And I was just out there talking to every single girl. There were so many times when I'm out there, the most confident version of myself, doing all the self-improvement habits, being in the gym, reading, meditating, journaling, and I would talk to girls and get with them whilst my account was depleting and depleting and depleting. And it was just not a factor that made me more confident. Money is not something that you should rely on for confidence. You need to be the man before you have the money. You should just be, throughout your entire journey of becoming successful, whether you are broke or rich now, talking to girls. This is something that you need to develop. It's a social skill. It's something that you just need to understand. If you don't learn girls throughout your journey, the journey is the best part. Thinking that you're going to have all this success and then girls are going to come to you, that's a quick way to get played and get cleaned out by a girl and end up in a terrible relationship. You should be understanding and knowing girls whilst you're broke, whilst you're successful, because it's going to allow you to pick up on the girls who really genuinely like you and love you, and the ones who are just trying to use you, the ones who are, being just bitches, the ones who are actually fun girls. You're not going to know this unless you've been learning girls throughout your entire journey. When you roll up in the Lambo with Gucci on, a girl's going to see you as a mark. If you're clueless and you come out of that car looking like a geek, she's going to be like, okay, well, I can take advantage of this guy. But if you're the man, and when she comes up to you, just have that confident James Bond presence, she's going to be like, okay, I actually want to be with him. I don't want to try and take advantage of him. Female nature is brutal, so you need to be learning girls throughout your entire journey and be the man before you have the money. And here's the next thing you need to understand, which is that confidence that comes from money is a recipe for disaster. Your confidence needs to come from who you are as a man. See, if I lost everything today, I would still have the same level of confidence because my confidence has come from all the trials and tribulations that I've gone through, the courage I've demonstrated in so many areas of my life. Let's just give some girl examples and some other examples as well. When I went to Norway, I knew absolutely no one, and I just showed up to the club by myself, and within a very short period of time, I was only there for a month, I started to know a lot of people, I slept with a bunch of girls, I started to make friends, and I just pulled together this social life out of nowhere just by being myself. No, it didn't, money had no impact on the success that I had in Norway. It wasn't even the slightest factor. Another example, I've now started 2 or 3 successful online businesses when I used to fail in online business time and time again. I know this is something that relates to money, but it's not the money that I make from these businesses that drives the confidence. It's the success that I've been able to accomplish from pulling nothing, making something out of nothing. The fact that I've been able to start different online businesses and succeed when there's such a high failure rate in today's day and age with online business. Everyone tries an online business and so many people fail. And here I am making thousands and thousands of dollars from online business. That gives me confidence, not the actual money that I have in the account. And here's the last thing that you really need to understand is that you need to have internally validated confidence. And I've made this mistake before in this journey. My first year after I developed my confidence, I took on a sales job and made some good money. I bought a Rolex and I thought that this was the coolest thing ever. I was flexing it to everyone, being a little kid, man, acting like a fool. And guess what? No one gave a fuck. It took away from my charisma and my aura because I was bragging about some shit that I bought that wasn't even that impressive. Like, who really cares? And just bragging as a whole is never going to make people like you. I didn't understand that. So that was an example of externally validated confidence where I had now a Rolex on my wrist and I was like, wow, this makes me the man. No. Me being the man is me just being this charismatic, positive, optimistic guy who can go and talk to every single girl no matter what and just be the man in anything, in any situation. Your confidence needs to come from within. It can't be external things. You can't have the watch and the car and the nice house and think that that is going to be your driving source of confidence. It just doesn't work that way. And once again, if you want to learn how I develop this internally validated source of confidence, go ahead and pick up that confidence transformation guide. It's the first link in the description below. And here's the last lesson, which is that money should be the byproduct of the man that you have become. If you do it this way, this is how you'll have unlimited success with girls. If you become the man and money follows suit, then you're set. But a lot of times in today's modern day, there's too many professions that allow guys to be successful without the development needed to become a man who is worth respecting and is attractive to girls. So you need to humble yourself and start working on the areas that actually matter. The confidence, the courage. See, in starting some of my online businesses, there was one when I was scared shitless to start. I was like, fuck, I'm really going to go all in on this business. I don't know what's going to happen. And I was terrified. When I started this YouTube channel, not too long after I had success with that other business, I was like, shit, I'm really putting myself out there, exposing my entire life to the world. I don't really know what's going to come of this. I can just put this out there and then get made fun of and, all these things go on in your head about what can go wrong. And those are examples of demonstrating courage in the process of having success. And now I'm just able to be myself so much more authentically because I've got such high levels of courage that I don't care if someone, leaves a hate comment or if a girl I'm meeting on a date says something like that's weird or whatever. These things don't faze me because I've dealt with so much bullshit in the journey. I've had to become the man, and don't get me wrong, there's still tons and tons of development that I have to go through. I'm not saying I've reached the pinnacle. I'm just saying that this is the journey I've taken, and it's allowed me to have all this success with girls. Because one more thing, a lot of guys will say, oh, well, Seb, you're handsome and you got a great body. That's why you get girls. Well, here's the thing. At 19, I almost looked identical to how I do now, but I didn't have any of the successful girls. So that proves that the character traits that you need to start developing that I developed are really going to be the driving factor. Because if you can take me and clone me right now and take away all the skills like I didn't have at 19, and that's the version of me who goes up and tries to talk to girls, he probably wouldn't have even gone. He wouldn't have even started walking towards them. It just wouldn't have been the same. And the way I would have interacted, all aspects would have been different compared to who I am now. So that proves it's the skills and the character traits and the development of you as a man that's going to make you more attractive and actually allow you to get girls. So that is it for this video. And once again, confidence is that one essential thing that you need. Without it, you will struggle. So that's why I put together this guide teaching you how I went from that 19-year-old kid who was shy, anxious, insecure to the confident, outgoing man that I am today. And you can grab that for free. It's the first link in the description below.